Yeah, no doubt. And speaking of that, Shane, I'm not saying this guy is getting paid or anything, but I do have a funny comment here because if you missed it, Tennessee just landed a commitment from the state's top prospect, four-star pass rusher Caleb Herring.
Mm-hmm.
The Vols currently have a top 10 recruiting class.
Come on.
And, that's important for many reasons. Josh Heupel and company, they need to lock down the state after, having a rough go of it last recruiting cycle. But I only wanted to bring that up, Shane, because I saw the funniest comment right under his commitment. Did you get $8 million too?
Oh, jeez. That is one thing that I am curious that I'm not worried about the front end of the recruiting thing. Yeah, I know it's been a little bit messy, but I'm worried about the back end when you've got some seasoned players. What happens when you got a player that, I don't know, maybe he wasn't paid much. Maybe he was paid $50,000 in NIL and he was able to do a few things with it, but he has a sophomore breakout season and here comes another quarterback that's not taking a snap and he gets $8 million. I am a little curious how that plays out just because you want to get paid what you're worth.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be tough, to be I don't know, just think of any of these guys that just like Tillman or something, he had a breakout season and then we go out and we pay a receiver X amount of dollars and it's more than Tillman's getting right now with NIL. Does that create a little controversy? Does that create a transfer portal situation? That's the only part I'm worried about is the fallout because, if you could go out and like these 24/7s, they're getting so much better at doing these composite rankings and stuff, but we never always get it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You go in, there's always bust, and there's these kids, we're not going to give them an opportunity to bust before we pay them. And if they come to the campus and it doesn't work out, it's like, yeah, that was a bad bet, but do you take the money that you gave that kid and give it to someone else that's popping on your program? I don't know. I'm just kind of, that's the part I'm curious how it plays out.
Yeah, no doubt. And one other thing, Shane, speaking of recruiting, I just wanted to make note of this because this is, I know it's early. I'm not going overboard here, but this is just remarkable because Arkansas, right before we hopped on the line, they landed them a commitment from a four-star offensive lineman out of the state of Tennessee named Luke Brown, number 5 prospect from Tennessee, top 300 prospect nationally. And with that commitment, Shane, Arkansas, number 3 recruiting class in the country, number 1 recruiting class in the SEC. And it just seems like month after month, we're getting more and more reason to buy into Sam Pittman's Arkansas Razorback program. And, it's so hard to remember when Arkansas is a laughingstock. If I were to tell you, fast forward 2 years, they got the number 1 class in the SEC, you would have thought, well, by God, they must have hired Nick Saban somehow. You know what I mean? So it's remarkable. And again, I understand this is, this may not be where Arkansas finishes, but it's a hell of a start to this recruiting cycle for
Absolutely,
the
man.
Razorbacks.
You got to be careful. That's the thing with the NIL. Look for those hungry programs with deep pockets. Those are the ones that are gonna have these recruiting classes. Arkansas, when this NIL thing rolled out, one of the first schools I thought about was Arkansas. How could you not? You know what I'm saying? It is a rich program. So I just think, hey, if you can't win it, buy it. So that's what some of these boys are going to do, and we're going to see how it plays out